Monday morning continues on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. RKW brewed up by 8th and Rose, Tremone Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined by Tennessee Titans General Manager Ran Carthon. Ran, first of all, I just want to thank you on the 8th round of the NFL draft that starts today. I want to thank you just for celebrating everyone's favorite undrafted lineman and spending some time with Ramon Foster and us this morning. We really appreciate that.
Top of the top, how we doing? I love the way we coming in.
Hey, man.
We're fully caffeinated.
Undrafted matter, baby. You feel me?
I was right there with you, baby, so you know I'm with you.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right. Ran, as you look at this class as a whole, what traits do these players have that you have made Titans over the weekend that you feel like they have in common that you really valued in looking at this class as a whole in the draft process?
Well, one thing they have in common is a lot of J's. 5 out of the 7 guys' names start with J, so we can start there. But no, this group, they all love football. They all love football. They all have something to prove to people. I think you can go down the list. You know, you got JC in the first round. Everybody's concerned with whether he can play left tackle or not, so he's ready to prove to the world he could do that. Sweat, with everything he has going on, he has people questioning him, questioning his weight, so he has something to prove. Cedric probably feeling like he should have gone higher. A lot of people felt he should have gone higher. Everybody's fixated on the green dot communicator situation, so he's going to want to prove that. And then you got Jaquan. Wants to show people, what he can do, his size. Everybody's saying, things about him. Jarvis wants to prove to everyone that, he can play inside, he can play outside, and he can dominate on special teams. And then you got James. He's got to show everybody, with a position transition going to linebacker. He wants to prove to people who he is and what he can do. All the way down. So, Jalen has to show everybody that he wasn't just another guy on the Michigan defense, and he can rush the passer, he can drop and cover. So we got a bunch of guys that want to prove their worth, and they all are passionate about football.
Titans General Manager Ran Carthon, our guest this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Ran, starting from the top with J.C. Latham, how involved was Bill Callahan in that pick? What specifically does he like the most about J.C.?
Well, I'll tell you, all of our coaches were very involved. That's the way we do things here. Our scouts kind of set the table. They've done a lot of work. They've been, it's crazy. Like, your mind is already on next year's draft, and getting a preliminary list, and you can start, getting a head start on watching, previous year's tapes on some of these guys. So, Coach Bill was, very involved, as are all of our coaches. And, how could you not like, a large human with a length and, paws for hands and, that's just extremely strong and has, incredible grip strength. So he's going to fit in fine here.
Man, Ran, it seems as if y'all started this draft class with something in mind. Get bigger, get faster, get meaner. Is that pretty much how you guys set it up this year? Of course, the quality matters, but it's very apparent within the first 2 picks and, of course, even all the way to the back end.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This division that we play in, that's the brand of football that everybody plays. You look at, what Indy is made of, what Jacksonville's made of, what Houston's made of, and all those teams have incredible fronts, and that we have to be, all prepared to go up against and to have a plan for. So, definitely wanted to, set the tone out of the gate, and, we're going to look real different getting off the bus this year.
No doubt about it, man. Looking real different. I feel like we've talked more about Tavondre than almost anybody, man, because of what he can present. How do you go up setting up a defense with him and Big Jeff? And just how has Jeff's reaction also been? Because in your presser, you said that he called you immediately and was excited about Big Boy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And that's who Jeff is. Jeff he's a great teammate. He's a leader. He's a captain. Everybody knows that about him. But he cares about this program, and he cares about how it's going to look and the type of people that we bring in. And so I know, he called me after, and was like he was excited, and immediately asked for Tavondre's number. And so, quickly gave it to him, let those guys connect. And, just putting another big man next to Jeff that's going to require some attention. You're not just going to be able to just load up and just push those two guys off the ball, which will then create some freedom for the linebackers at the second level, to stay clean and run around and use their athletic traits and make some plays. So, it's a good problem for Denard to have to kind of figure out schematically how he wants to do it.
Now, the real question is who you siding with, because, of course, you get Tavondre in a second, but you also have a very nice free agent center in Lloyd Cushenberry. At some point in time, he going to tick off, Tavondre, and I just need to know who going to break that fight up and who you siding with, Ran.
Well, it won't be me. I'm staying out of the fray. Just the way my insurance policy is set up, so I'm staying out of that one. We'll leave that to Zach Woodfin and his staff. The strength coaches love to jump in the middle of the fight and the scuffle, so we'll let them have that. But it won't be me. I promise you that.
Ran Carthon, general manager of the Tennessee Titans, joined us on RKW. Okay, right out of the gate, I'm guessing you watched the Preds game last night, and you saw the exchange of the catfish from your new center, Lloyd Cushenberry, to Will Levis. So was that approved? Is that all good? I
will be honest with you. I did not watch the Preds game last night.
You got to go back and look at that exchange.
I will. My daughter and her teammates at Ravenwood, they won. They three-peated as state champions in the girls' flag football league.
Okay.
So I was there all day and then celebrating with her and the team and the parents and the families last night. So we were out pretty late doing that. But there we go. So super excited for those girls. They had an incredible season and worked really hard. I'm just extremely excited for it's been a Williamson County thing, and now I'm extremely excited for this to spread throughout the state. I think we became the 10th state to sanction girls flag football as a true varsity sport. So our girls there at Ravenwood, they've three-peated. So it's been really cool, and was out celebrating with them last night.
Dude, congratulations on that. I wish I would have had that in high school, because I definitely would have taken part in that. It's such a great opportunity. You're exactly right. So that's something that continues to grow, and I hope that other states pick that up as well. Speaking of offensive linemen, though, just the choice to take J.C. Latham, I think the more and more people heard from him and kind of looked into this decision, the more people felt like, okay, just because he didn't play left tackle at Alabama doesn't mean he can't switch over to that and go back to what he did in high school. But in terms of just that process, how do you feel like that will take place over the next few months, and what will be maybe the most challenging part for him?
I mean, it's the only way to do it is put him over there. You know what I mean? And put him over there and just live through the ebbs and flows. It's going to be an adjustment. It just is what it is. Even if he played left tackle his whole life, if he's coming into the National Football League, it's the best in the world over there. They got guys in this league like Nick Bosa making $30 million. It's going to be an adjustment trying to block those dudes. You know what I mean? So, you just put him over there and let him take his lumps. He'll fight through it. And one thing, I don't like to compare any player to Hall of Famers, but, just because he played right tackle doesn't mean he can't play left tackle. I mean, Jonathan Ogden was the 4th overall pick when he came out of his first year. He played guard. And then he became one of the best left tackles to ever play the game and got a gold jacket. So, J.C. Latham isn't the first, won't be the last, first-round pick on the O-line to make a position change in the NFL. How
much intel did you get from, obviously, a guy that already went to Tulane that's on your roster in Taj Spears when it came to Jaquan Jackson? I just thought that moment was really cool. And what do you like about this guy?
Man, so if you guys know Tajay, he's full of personality.
Yeah.
Jaquan is his guy. Tajay showed up at the Senior Bowl this year to support him. And he's come in my office a few times asking if we were looking at him, asking if we were looking at at his quarterback as well. So he's just like all these other guys that are fighting for guys from their alma mater. But I thought it was a really cool moment as well. What people don't know is I didn't know that Tajay was going to be there with him, on draft day. So right before we picked, I actually tried to FaceTime Tajay, and tried to give him a heads up and say, hey, man, are you ready to, add a new roommate And so he missed the call, and then we called Jaquan and, got to, let him know that we were going to take him. And then right after that, Tajay, hits me back. He was like, "Is this real? Is this real?" And he, then everybody starts going crazy. So he's super excited. I know both of those guys have already called, and Tajay's like, "Hey, how soon can I bring him in? We ready to get to work." So I told them both, like, bring that same energy. That same energy you guys had at Tulane, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, to get some extra work in. That's going to set the tone around here. I walked in this morning, and looked out on the practice field and probably already had about 8 guys, at 6:30 in the morning getting their workout in, getting ready for the day. So it's been that type of thing throughout the off season. But, Jaquan's just going to bring a guy that has versatility. He's going to bring an explosive nature to the offense that, as you got to score points in this league to win football games.
Titans General Manager Ran Carthon, our guest this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Ran, you mentioned over the weekend you had a lot of offers for the 38th overall pick, but instead you did decide to stick and pick and go with DaAndre Sweat. What qualities does he have that you feel like maybe other guys in the class didn't have that encourage you to stay there and make him a Titan?
Mass, power, and length, is what he has and what he's going to add, to the team. And the one thing too, like you said, we had a few offers come in, and just because you have offers coming in don't mean that they're good ones, and so I think that's what, people always forget about, or, people want you to move up and down, and that's fine, but you got to have partners to move up and down. You don't just get to say, "Hey, I don't want to pick at 38. We want to move down to 44 and pick," so, and plus the way we had our board, and looking at our board and, the level and the quality of player that we were looking for at 38, we felt like Big Sweat was the best person for that. And so, it was a collective effort by all parties, myself, Callie, A-Rob, and, Tracy Rocker and Denard and, Clint McMillan. It was a collective effort from all of us to make sure that we were getting, the best football player and best person.
Ran, 6 of the 7 guys you drafted were Senior Bowl guys. Obviously, I don't have to tell you that. And you and Coach Callahan were filling out a coaching staff during the Senior Bowl. What was that film review process like? How did you multitask and do both? I feel like maybe people on the internet don't think you can do 2 things at once, Ran.
Yeah, and I'm laughing because of, the lumps that we took for not attending the Senior Bowl, Coach and I in person. But that's the biggest thing, like you said, like you get the tape. You get the tape, and with technology, we can get specifically every rep that each of those guys had, whether in practice or the game, which allows you to, make that a singular focus, when you're at the actual Senior Bowl. And you get to, we had a full staff down there. We had a full, staff of scouts down there that did the work. As well as interview all these guys. And so you come back and you have a good idea about who they are as people, and then you get to sit down and watch the tape, and not only watch the tape that week, but, the tape all the way leading up to the draft. So you get to see that whole experience. But, all those guys stood out. Those guys, went down to the Senior Bowl. And represented themselves well. So just glad to have all that. And, like I said, it's the game and the way that we know scouting to be is changing. And so you have to be ever evolving, and you have to find the best and most efficient ways, because, you guys go to the combine and you see what the combine is and what it's become. And, it's a lot of unproductive work, going on. And so we want to be productive and maximize, our time, because the time that we have is so limited.
You got to see the results of everything in about 2 to 3 years, right? As it pertains to how you draft and the moves that you make. And the draft we see is also made up of runs. The moment that I think was it the Michigan D tackle left,
Johnny Newton at 36.
Johnny Newton, there was a run on
Illinois.
D tackles. In your perspective, to not trade out, and your mindset, do you think there would have been somebody that definitely took DaAndre ahead of you guys, which is why you pulled the trigger also?
Absolutely. And, regardless of what, I promise everything that we do, we're well researched, and we know. And what people don't see is the text messages and the calls you get from teams, after you take, quote unquote, their guy, and how many texts and calls were, "Oh, we were taking him with our next pick." or great pick, and that's not just Tavondre, that's with most of these guys. And so there's a lot of, backroom conversation going on, but trust me, had we tried to move, and I trust me, I had a earmark, on the board of, hey, this is the furthest we could go back and still get a guy of his caliber. And even with that, I'm one of the teams that I earmarked that we could go below to get him, texted and said after the draft that, like, hey, we would have taken him if he was there, so we would have missed out.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Ran, when it comes to Cedric Gray, first of all, love that pick. He mentioned Fred Warner is obviously one of the guys he's always looked up to. You're pretty familiar with Fred Warner. How realistic is it for a rookie to come in right away and possibly wear that green dot?
I think I've said it a couple times and used Fred as my example, that it's all on the player. It's all on the player and the person. People forget Fred Warner didn't even really play in the box as a linebacker. He was more of like a big nickel and played detached over the slot a lot in college and had never played Mike backer. And then next thing you know, this guy's drafted in the third round. He's a starting Mike, and he's communicating and making a call. So it really depends on the person. But Cedric definitely, fits that, 3-year starter, 2-year captain. So he has those leadership traits. He has that ability to do it. And it's just a matter of how he comes in, how he connects with the defense. And, it's up to him. I believe Jack Gibbons can do it as well. And I think we can also be creative. I will tell you, it's going to be a hard time convincing Amani Hooker that he can't do it.
Yep.
I think after one of the pressers, I mentioned, Eric Weddle as a safety had been the green dot communicator in Baltimore and at his time at the Rams. And as soon as I got back to my desk, I had a text from Armani saying he wanted it. And, how can he go about getting it? So it's a bunch of different ways to get there. It doesn't necessarily have to be a linebacker.
Tennessee Titans General Manager Ran Carthon, our guest on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Ran, last one for me. At right tackle specifically, you addressed left tackle with J.C. Latham. Who do you see competing at right tackle, and are you still looking to add help there or anywhere else on the offensive line in free agency?
Yeah, all the tackles will compete there. And again, it's about getting your best five. And for us, it isn't just left tackle, right tackle. It's offensive tackle. It's every team has two good rushers, so you better have two good tackles that can block those people. And most teams now put their best rusher over the right tackle. So we're going to figure out the best five and going to have them out there. And O-line is just like any other position that we're going to look at today. Is all right, who's the best available on the street that's reasonably priced, because we're not going to go and overspend for a guy just because patience is a virtue in this thing, and everybody wants the quick fix, and everybody wants from all teams you want those positions of need, quote unquote, to be addressed right away. But you have to be patient and understand markets, and you're still working with a salary cap. You got to think about operating budget for the year. So these are all things that people forget. You're just trying to you just want to fill spots on the roster.
All right, Ran, legitimately.
I know you about to come with some foolishness.
Ratchetness and righteousness, Ran. This is what we do here.
I ain't even
the
saying
balance
nothing.
between ratchetness and righteousness.
It's the kid in the back of the class over here that's going to end things.
I ain't even said nothing yet, man. Don't mind me.
Yeah, there you go. You said yes.
When he starts turning it around on you, that's when you know that something bad's about to come out of Ramon Foster's mouth.
You got me. All right, so we got our picks. We're going to get our free agents and everything. By the way, when is Jamaica, man? And are you leaving the kids behind, too? Because you said it, not me. Job is pretty much done, and the coach has got to coach. When we going to Jamaica? And I threw we in there in case you got an extra ticket.
Nope. I don't like you like that. So you will not be joining me in Jamaica. I'm supposed to be going to get peace, not getting stressed out. I promise you, I'm looking forward to it now, trying to figure it out. My wife, she was talking with some of the guys here. She told them I'm a liar, that she doesn't believe I would take the time off to even go do it. I would have liked to do it this weekend, but some things have come up on the calendar for Friday, which will stop me from doing that. But I promise you, it's coming soon. And even if I don't do Jamaica I might just have to, go find me a cabin somewhere and just get away for a couple of days and decompress and then come back ready to go.
Ran in nature. I can't.
You're not invited, Ramon. I want everybody to hear that.
Where you are invited is this weekend when Ran Carthon is on the install live with Buck Rising hanging out. Ran, we had two ways to sell tickets. It was obviously you were plan A and getting you to be there and break down the film. Plan B was having you guys break down Ramon Foster's college film out of Tennessee. Luckily, you guys sold this thing out before we even had to get to plan B.
Can we do something to stop people from coming and doing from that standpoint so we can go back and watch some Ramon Foster college tape? Seeing him, I need that. We could set something else up to do that. I'm in.
We can take care of that.
We are recognizing the lineman in his class that did not make it, and we've already gone like 2 breaks with
We're playing like In the Arms of an Angel in the background and just reading off names of guys who didn't get drafted.
Like hate to me.
No, what I'm telling
that's more the ratchet side this morning.
Knocked every one of them off. You feel me, baby? Some of them got 1. I got 11. That's all I'm telling you.
Most of them don't get the picture unless the flash is on, but we don't hate them for it.
If you ever need a scout, baby, I know what they look like. You feel me? I know what the good ones look like.
Ran Carthon, our guest this morning.
I think we're good, Ramon. I'm good with this.
That's 2 job opportunities you shut me down on. That's 2 you shut me down on. Right? I'm not getting fired again. I'm telling you.
I can't deal with you every day.
Well, he'll move in silence like the G in lasagna to Jamaica. And Ramon will have no idea. Ran Carthon, our guest. Ran, we appreciate the time as always. Thank you.
Always fun. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you.
All right, good stuff. There he is, Ran Carthon, with us here this morning on the show as we always hit it all with the GM. Let's react to that. Give you the chance to react to it as well. It's 615-737-1045 coming up next.